Hi, and welcome back to part 2 of season 3 of the State of Healthcare podcast. This season, we've been exploring that we've never really studied the female body, but we've also been delving into topics in just areas that I think aren't as explored as often or even just discussed. So I invite you to come along with us on this uncomfortable journey as we discover more things like tips and tricks that may help you in your daily life or even possibly save it. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the State of Healthcare podcast. I got to remember what I'm doing. We're in season 3. We are focusing a lot on women's health, but also other issues, just kind of delving into some stickier topics this season. But I have Clementine with me, and I'm going to have you introduce yourself and kind of just talk a little bit about what you do.
Yeah. First, thank you for having me, Tracy. And so I'm Clementine. I'm an integrative health professional and women's health expert. And basically what I do is I help women to reconnect with their body, their mind, and their environment so they can build a thriving relationship first with themselves and those around them. So a word about myself, as you may hear from my accent, I'm originally from France. So I was born and raised near Paris, and I grew up in a family with a lot of conflicts, which really sparked in me a deep fascination to understand the human mind, and also it pushed me toward an early emancipation. So at the age of 17, I left France and I headed to Asia. And I spent 10 years working and studying in Japan. And this time in Japan was for me full of discovery, both on a cultural level, of course, but also on a more personal level, as I started to really explore what we call the mind-body connection. So the relationship between my mind and my body and how they influenced each other. So during that time, I put myself through university while juggling multiple jobs at the same time in various fields such as education or translation. And I was young, I was full of life, full of energy, and I tended to really push myself and overstretch my limits. And I actually thought I could keep up the same pace. So after graduation, I took a quite demanding job in a Japanese trading company, and it wasn't long before I met one of my greatest teachers, burnout. So when I experienced burnout, my body and my mind completely shut down. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't even think or speak clearly, and emotionally, I was a complete wreck. So it was for me really a wake-up call on the importance of balancing work and rest, on managing my stress better, and definitely on setting proper boundaries. So what I did is I quit my job. I shifted my mindset and really made self-care a priority for myself. And within 6 months, I managed to be functional again. I was able to walk again, but functional doesn't mean optimal. Yes, and my body and my mind were still stuck in survival mode. And I continued to experience very strong premenstrual syndrome, mood swing, weight gain, digestive disorder, and I was constantly exhausted. So that's when I knew I really had to dig deeper. So I took another step and decided to leave Japan, and I returned to Europe. I went to Switzerland when I undertook a 3-year intensive training in what we call traditional European medicine, which combined academic medicine and naturopathic sciences. And through this approach, I learned and I implemented on myself. I managed to create healthier relationship with my body, my mind, and my environment. And over time, because it took some time, my PMS cleared up, my digestive disorder completely disappeared, and my mood and my weight stabilized, and I managed to really feel truly at peace. So for me, this experience really changed my life. And what I learned from that is that health is a lifelong commitment where time and dedication are needed. And to go down that path it's really important to build the right foundation, to have the right tool, and to be able to build also your own momentum. This is key for actually long-term success. And I wanted to share this approach and share this knowledge with other women so they can really cultivate health and well-being within themselves and in their environment. So about 2 years ago, a little more than 2 years ago, I came to the United States, to Arizona. And last year, based on that experience, I created a 4-month integrative health program to empower my clients. And in this program is really designed to help women understand and track their own biology, shift their mindset, build a healthier environment, and start making real progress, and start seeing real results within our time together. And right now, my primary focus is on overwhelmed moms and women's entrepreneurs who, like I did once, suffer from struggle with like emotional overwhelm, stress, insomnia, digestive issues, or maybe hormonal imbalances or other challenges. And what I do in this program is that I provide them with the support, the knowledge, the guidance, and the tool needed for them to initiate lasting changes, to activate their self-healing abilities, and to build a thriving environment first for themselves and their loved ones.
So you are focusing right now on mothers and women entrepreneurs.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's the two most challenging positions nowadays in our society. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times you have women that are mothers that are also trying to be entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So that you probably have a combo
Yes.
of that. So I find that interesting. And in the entrepreneur side, I was like, okay, hold on. But also, again, I think sometimes people are like, oh, you're a stay-at-home mom, and they don't realize all of the challenges women are going through.
And it's a full-time job. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I appreciate that. I just wanted to highlight that point for everybody.
Thank you.
So it's a 4-month program. What is involved in this program with it?
So this program, so I'm currently offering this 4-month integrative health program to help women lay the foundation of their health and really make, I would say, progress towards their personal goal.
Okay.
And this program is a highly individualized program where each of my clients receive ongoing support, tools, knowledge, and guidance tailored to their needs.
Okay.
And each week we have a 90-minute session where we go over their test result, we cover essential health topic, and we also use somatic techniques to help with mind-body regulation. Okay. During that time together, we also do coaching for us to find creative solution, to identify blind spots, and to also address any limiting belief or self-sabotaging behaviors that may be holding them back. Okay. In this program, there is 13 sessions together. Okay. And after each session, my client receive educational booklet where they can actually dive deeper into the topic we've been covering and experiment with practical solution. So they can actually build some foundational knowledge I've been talking about earlier. They also receive a self-testing, monitoring, and tracking manual to be able to look at their physiology and perform simple weekly and monthly tests to be able to understand their biochemistry and also track their progress. Okay. And during that time, we also use what we call a HTMA test, which stands for hair tissue mineral analysis. Okay. So this is a lab test, a laboratory test, where we're going to analyze a very small sample of the client hair. Okay. And it's going to give us an overview of the client mineral status, toxicity level, and biochemical status over the past 3 months. Okay. And during our time together, my client also received 4 comprehensive and completely individualized reports. Okay. So the first report they're going to receive towards the beginning of the program is what we call a constitutional report. So in this report, they will learn about their unique physiology, biology, and psychology. Psychological makeup, I would say, that we call constitution in traditional European medicine.
Mhm.
And based on that, they will receive guidance on food, spices, herbs, essential oils, and
Mhm.
various therapeutic practices to be able to actually support and balance their unique constitution.
Okay.
And then they will receive a second report, which is an
Mhm.
analytical report, where we will delve actually into all the data we've been gathering at the beginning of the program
Mhm.
for them to be able to connect the dot between their sign, their symptoms, their test results, and their lifestyle factors, so they can actually identify their imbalances and
Mhm.
understand the root cause of their symptoms.
So you're not just putting a Band-Aid on it.
And we're not just covering that.
Okay.
And so after that, I will
Mhm.
receive a third report, which is based on the previous report. This
Uh-huh.
report will be a recommendation report, which will address the client's imbalances.
Mhm.
And the client will receive recommendation on food, recipes, supplements, and
Mhm.
lifestyle and therapeutic practices to actually help them create a
Uh-huh.
supportive environment to initiate self-healing both in body and mind.
Okay.
And lastly, towards the end
Mhm.
of the program, they will receive a readjustment report. So this report will just fine-tune the previous recommendation based on the client's progress and evolving needs.
Mhm.
And it will also help them to keep on track after the program.
Okay.
So as you can guess, it's a
Uh-huh.
very unique and
Uh-huh.
comprehensive and individualized program where I work directly with each of my clients.
Right.
And after the program, actually, the client can also, if they need,
Mhm.
access follow-up sessions. So that those are either quarterly, so 4 times a year, or
Okay.
biannually, twice a year follow-up session to
Mhm.
keep on track with their own health journey.
I think you read my mind. Like, what if they needed tune-ups?
Yes, it's available. It's
Okay.
available. And so they will also, during that time, have access to further lab testing, like gut testing,
Oh,
hormone testing, blood testing, and more.
okay.
And so they will have the tool if they need
Uh-huh.
to actually dig deeper, because as we were talking
Mhm.
last time, our health, it's more like, peeling an onion. So
Mhm.
you peel up the first layer, peel away the
Mhm.
first layer, and usually you have improvement, but there is also new aspect previously hidden that
Mhm.
emerge and often need to be addressed. So having the right tool during that time is really priceless. And so this program is an integrative program completely separate from the
Mhm.
healthcare system, conventional healthcare system, and as such is not covered by insurance.
Which is what everybody will ask. Yes.
Yes. So yeah, and so to answer
Uh-huh.
your the question, so
Mhm.
it's really a personal investment as we speak now of $3,500.
Okay.
Its price will increase in February to actually include a new functional testing focused on digestive health, which
Okay.
is actually the foundation of hormonal health. But
Uh-huh.
it's also an area where I see that women,
Mhm.
and I would say almost all women, have issue even if they don't experience digestive symptoms.
That is interesting because I feel I'm glad you're bringing that in because I feel like gut health is something that
Is foundation.
yes, and we keep hearing that and then people are like, okay, and it just we acknowledge it and then we just forget about it, right? So I think I'm glad that you're bringing that program in.
Yeah, and really, like,
Mhm.
I think it's important to
Mhm.
explain why it is
Mhm.
important. Not if you say to someone, okay, it's important, you have to do that, but without explaining the
Mhm.
rationale behind it,
Right.
the compliance won't be the same.
Yes.
So really bringing this educational part is, I
Uh-huh.
think, can make a huge difference.
And I think we talked before,
Mhm.
people see a price tag for
Mhm.
things, right? Like, oh, it's almost $5,000 or
Mhm.
whatever. But what I like to tell people is you can pay $5,000 and dig to the root of the problem.
Mhm.
And it's a little more uncomfortable because you have to make changes and you have
Mhm.
to find all these things, right? Or you can spend all kinds of money on copays and blood work and doctor visits and medication, and you won't feel any better. You're
Mhm.
just going to keep masking the symptoms, and then you get another medication because now you got this. So in your lifetime, you will I feel like you can't put a price on health,
Yes.
right? That's the one thing that no one can buy back, right?
Yes.
So, as a cash pay practitioner, obviously I'm a little biased, but at the same time, I like to have that personal time with my clients
Yes.
because I feel like can't
Mhm.
do the job I want to do if I'm rushed.
Exactly.
And so I appreciate that you spend that time with your people. But when we talk about the cash pay and I appreciate that you're very upfront about your pricing, which is nice. It's not like a sneak in sales pitch or something.
But transparency is important, right?
Right. So then they
Otherwise,
can build
yeah,
a relationship with
exactly.
you.
Trust and transparency, I think that's one of the
Mhm.
basic of the relationship. Yeah.
So especially if they're going to be investing and you're probably going to get into all kinds of topics where they need to trust you.
They need to trust you. You need to build really a strong therapeutic relationship.
Mhm.
Otherwise, the client won't be as much committed in
Right.
what they are doing because they're not trusting you. They're second
Mhm.
guessing whatever, you will be saying. So
Uh-huh.
it's really part of the process, I think. And like some people are maybe not ready to do it because it takes, some
Mhm.
courage to
Right.
really face
The things.
the things and are part of responsibility in it. And I'm not
Mhm.
talking about blaming, but if you don't
Mhm.
take actually responsibility, you're not taking your power back.
Right.
And so facing that and not, keeping postponing.
Mhm.
But I mean, everyone has its timing, and that's what I respect.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's like some people will be ready, and some
Mhm.
people will find you because they will be ready, and other
Right.
people maybe won't be ready right away or won't be ready ever. Like everyone
Right.
has its timing, but it's
Mhm.
important to highlight, as you were saying, that if you really want real results, you
Mhm.
have to commit. And I mean to commit not just your energy, not just your time, not just your energy, but
Mhm.
also your resources.
Right.
You're investing in yourself.
And that's even on a level for physical therapy. I will tell patients I will work really hard
Mhm.
to, but if you don't meet me part way, our results are
Mhm.
only going to be, there's only so much I can do. The patients that I have that are the most successful are the ones that follow the instructions. And it doesn't mean I don't make mistakes or I can't fix things or whatever, but we learn together. And if they do their part, I feel like they're far more successful.
Exactly. That's actually a collaborative process. That's
Mhm.
not something you're doing on your own. Like you're not just giving, a pill
Mhm.
to feel
Right.
better or just doing something. So
Mhm.
don't just to attend
Right.
the sessions. They have to actually commit to the process and do
Mhm.
their part of the job. Yes.
Right. So from your program, they get resources that then they most likely are going to be working on.
Yes.
And the hardest part, even for me, and I know I keep comparing it to what I do, which it's my background, but for physical therapy, a lot of times we are talking lifestyle changes, right? If I have
Yes.
to say, like,
Mm-hmm.
it can't just be like, oh, you worked on me and I'm fine. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
there's a strained muscle and I can,
Yes.
whatever. But sometimes it's like, let's
Deeper.
look at
Mm.
your computer station. Let's look at what your activities are during the day. Let's look at like maybe there are some things you don't get to do anymore. Like we have to make
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle changes. And so I think that's a harder sell than like a pill or a quick chiropractic adjustment. Nothing against chiropractors. Like it's just, but it's an easier sell to just quickly get adjusted, quickly take a medication. But then if you're back again the next week because it's still the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, that's a real change in
Mhm.
the mindset actually we have
Mhm.
to bring. And it takes time for some people.
Right.
Like, and that's why, doing one session usually is not
Mhm.
enough. That's why also I created, this program over 4 months because I think that's actually
Yes. Mhm.
the strict minimum of what we need.
Right. To be able, again, because habits and changes take time, right?
Mhm.
It's a constant like going back and repeating the process
And
and
learning, you're working
Mhm.
actually with your body. So even
Right.
if you're aiming for a goal, you constantly have to adjust depending on
Mhm.
what your body is telling you, right?
Well, and that's even, again, back to me always comparing,
Mhm.
but like patients come and they're like, well, how long am I going to be here? And I'm like, it depends on your injury. It depends what's going on. And like, I need it, there's the inflammation process, then we go into the tissue
Mhm.
healing. And so your body has to make changes. So I tell people a minimum of 6 to 8 weeks just for an injury. And that's just something like acutely happen. We're not talking about your
Yes.
entire lifestyle or your
Mm-hmm.
entire lifetime that's built you here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I do appreciate you actually when you were talking about your program, I'm like, I need to ask her if there's tune-up sessions.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
there are session
Mhm.
after. So really, it's
Mhm.
like long-term health is a long-term journey. So you actually have also to have this support behind. And I mean, like, not support like every month, because yeah, obviously what you're aiming for is the patients to become autonomous. It's the autonomy to become completely independent from you. And so really having, like, I don't know, quarterly or biannually, depending on what you need, can really help you, to be, okay, that's my process, to feel like that's my process, and I'm going to, fine tune whatever I had worked on right now. So yes, there are. So yes.
No, and even for, again, PT, I do maintenance appointments, or they check in, we review their things if there's something. So I like that. I think sometimes people do better also if they have someone they have to report to. As weird as that sounds.
Accountability is a big part, yes.
Yes. So I think that's good. You build the relationship. So it's an accountability, but also with, like, maybe not all the guilt, right? Like, it's just someone that you can have a conversation with and be like, okay, let's get back in the groove.
Yes. And talking about relationship, actually, this year, I will be also expanding my services.
Perfect.
And I will be offering actually 2 new programs. The first program, which will be focused on emotional and relationship coaching.
Oh, okay.
So it will really help women to get a deeper understanding and a better management of their emotion and stress. It will also focus on enhancing communication skill, creating healthy boundaries, and really being able to build thriving relationship with ourselves, but also with others, that being whether, a friend, a family member, or a romantic partner.
Okay.
And I have also a second program, which is fertility awareness education program, which is designed to really empower women to make informed choice about their health and fertility.
Okay.
And in this program, we're going to use a science-based and completely natural method, which can be used actually for 3 different purposes. It can be used either to increase your chance of conceiving naturally.
Okay.
So perfect if you want to build your own family. It can also be used to as a health tool to pinpoint any hormonal imbalances and adjust your lifestyle accordingly.
Okay.
Or it can be used to actually as a natural birth control method.
Okay.
To avoid any unwanted pregnancy. And for that purpose, actually, it is known to have up to a success rate up to 98% with no side effect at all. In comparison, the synthetic birth control pills that many women are unfortunately taking today have an average success rate of 92% with a very, very long list of side effects. So this is really a good, I would say, alternative for women who want to switch to a more natural yet science-based way of taking care of their hormonal health and fertility. And this program will be open to menstruating women, but also to mothers and daughters who want to take the program together, strengthen their bonds, and really demystify what hormonal health and fertility means. And for those who want to learn more, but who are not ready to commit to a program, by the end of the year, I also intend to create a series of health education webinars. So those will be 60-minute session in a group setting, up to 5 women, where we'll dive into topics like understanding your cycle, the basic of hormonal physiology, or basic health tips. So every woman can actually get a sense of what integrative health means and really learn something valuable in a safe and supporting space.
And again, I think we talked, that's actually how I found you in the first place.
Yes.
I saw those and I was very excited because I always want to learn as much as I can. I'm not in where I'm wanting to conceive, but I couldn't handle birth control, to be honest. It did mess with my system. Every, version that I was put on, I got the side effects and the things like that. So I'm not on birth control, but I'm like, all the TMI. But again, as a woman, I feel like understanding our cycle is something we kind of know, but we don't. And then there's all the political stuff of women's health and the fertility thing. So I like that you're offering a natural solution for women where they don't have to maybe deal with the side effects of something, or they can, you can figure stuff out from there.
Yeah, or just not, your health is not just about taking a pill. It's also about, tuning in, because as women, we have this power to be really like a very, very sensitive being, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we should actually use it, for creative purposes. And being able to tune into your own cycle and being able to manage your own health, because that's a tool to actually manage your own health and to know actually, okay, there is a red flag. So I need maybe to go to the OBG or to go, to see a doctor. But until, you don't have to wait to be sick to have
Right.
the key to be able to take care of yourself.
I like that because I feel like we fight our bodies so much,
Yes.
or we're angry at it, right? We're angry. Why
Yes.
do I have a period? Why do I have this?
Mhm.
Why do I have these things? And sometimes we almost make things worse because
Mhm.
we're at war with ourselves,
Mhm.
because there's times I'm like, oh, really? I got my period, or this is happening, but instead, I do have some patients that I admire where they're like, oh, I know it's this week, and they know when to take advantage of, like, this is my strength building week. Seriously, let's work on this, or this is my week for this. So they're very attuned, and I always admire them. I love that they know that. And so I feel like that's a good skill to be able to embrace that and embrace that power within us,
Yes.
right? And listen to our bodies.
Yes, and being able to tune into this cycle, because this
Mhm.
cycle is not just about menstruating, it's
Mhm.
also a cycle of energy, Your
Mhm.
hormone will really fluctuate, and with it, your energy will fluctuate, your immune system will fluctuate. So knowing when actually to slow down, or knowing when actually,
Mhm.
to maybe put all your energy into a project or wrap
Right.
up the project will help you to even be more productive on
Mhm.
a professional level. So I think it's a tool for our health, but also for our social life.
Right. So that's why I say, like, follow you for, I guess we can get into how do people find you, but
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yes.
these programs are coming. So how
Mhm.
do people find you?
So yeah, so people interested in my services can
Mhm.
find me through my website, which is holisticbynaturewh.com,
Okay.
or on social media on
Uh-huh.
either Instagram or Facebook under the handle Holistic by Nature WH.
Okay.
And I'm also available by email at info
Uh-huh.
at holisticbynature.wh.com. Sorry.
Okay.
And so, for any woman who wants
Uh-huh.
to make a change in her life and really want to improve her
Mhm.
health and well being, I'm offering free discovery calls.
Okay.
And during that session, I will I will introduce you the program. I
Uh-huh.
will answer to any of your questions, and I will see actually if I can help you with your goal or not.
Mhm.
And I will also see if we are aligned and a right fit to work together.
And that's important too.
That's very important.
Mhm.
And so for this integrative health program, right now I'm working directly with each of my clients,
Mhm.
and I'm working with only one new client a month. So there is
Okay.
only one opening monthly.
Uh-huh.
It's very important for me to prioritize quality over quantity
Mhm.
and to give to my clients the time that each client deserves on her own health journey.
Mhm.
Because as we were mentioning earlier, creating a safe and supportive space, as well as creating a very strong relationship that we call
Mhm.
rapport, is really key when it comes to helping the client to step out of their comfort zone, challenge their belief, and
Mhm.
experience real transformation. And another reason for me to also limit my client load is that I
Mhm.
do believe that coherence and consistency are
Mhm.
the foundation of good health. So for me to serve my client well, I need to lead by example. So I need to model that same balance by taking care of myself and by
Mhm.
continuing my personal growth. So it is as much for them as it is for me a journey where I'm constantly learning to meet their evolving need. And I'm constantly working on my own limitation to be able actually to guide them from a place of authentic experience.
Well, and it would be ironic then if you went and like burned
Yes.
yourself out trying to help
Mhm.
other women. So again, I appreciate that, that again, same thing for with my patients. I'm like, I do my own home exercises and I work on my homework because I'm not going to give you things that I wouldn't expect me to do, right?
Yes.
So I'm not going to stand there and be a hypocrite, right? So
Yes.
I appreciate that you're still honoring your journey, that you took the lessons and it is still your lifelong journey that you're still working on. And again, I like that also for your clients, they're getting their money's worth, right? They're
Yes.
getting that one-on-one time. So you're not just like, I gave her all this money and then she was like 20 million people. So they are getting that authentic journey.
Yes.
And that's what I like to compare. Like if you're going to do a cash pay per, like you do basically get what you pay for, you know? So that is nice.
Yes, to really embody, embody the
Mhm.
change you want to see. And the change is like you are actually your own, how do you say? The image you're showing to people is the image you're showing of your services, right?
Right.
So if you like, and again, I don't have anything again, overweight people, but if you are an overweight nutritionist,
Right.
there is no coherence here. So I think it's difficult here to build, a relationship, a strong therapeutic relationship where there is no incoherence, because addressing incoherence is actually one part of the process for the client, to do this deep introspective journey. Yeah.
Also, just podcast wise, we will put the links for all of your socials and your things, and then we'll put in the links so people can find you. So, that way, if you didn't catch it, we'll put it on there. We'll link it all in the things so that people can find you. My curiosity is why, like, for women in the healthcare system, like why this targeting here? Like why do women need these things, or like why does this happen to us? Or
Yes. Well, from my experience and from what I learn, I really see that for women, our health and well-being rest on a very delicate balance, especially when it comes to emotional and hormonal health.
Right.
And unfortunately, we were talking about that earlier, in today's society, there is this push for women to believe that to be free or to be valued or to be fulfilled, they have to take on the same role or the same workload as men. But taking care of your household or taking care of yourself or your environment or of your loved one is already a full-time job. And for many women, on top of that, and this job is often not acknowledged, right? Unfortunately. And so for many women, on top of that, they are kind of expected to work at the same level outside of home and end up to work at 200, if not 300%. So it's no wonder actually that with all those pressure we're seeing in today's society, an epidemic of burnout and exhaustion amongst women, because chronic stress really take a huge toll on our hormones, our nervous system, but also our immune system. And from my perspective, I really think we need to rethink our approach. We need to slow down, become maybe more of a human being instead of a human doing. And we definitely need to manage our expectation and set proper boundaries to be able to take care of ourselves first. Like in a plane, when you ask to put your oxygen mask on.
Right, you can't save someone if you're...
Yes, before helping others. And I think that's exactly the same principle that should be applied here. But changing this ingrained belief is actually one of the biggest challenge amongst women. And that's exactly when having accountability, coaching, or personalized tools like those in the program can make a huge difference. Another aspect also, which is worth mentioning, is the increased exposure to toxins and pollution in our modern society. So it's well known that women's hormonal balance is much more sensitive. And when it's disrupted, it can actually throw off balance other systems in our bodies. And there is this increased exposure to what we call endocrine disruptors, which are chemicals that mimic or interfere with our hormones. And you can find those chemicals almost everywhere, from the food you're eating, the water you're drinking, the clothes you're wearing, or the personal care products you're using. And women are more exposed to that due to, for instance, beauty or skincare routine. And over time, it can lead to hormonal imbalances, which can actually show up as mood swings, fatigue, weight changes, or even blood sugar issues. And so that's why I'm really committed in this program to teach the basic of clean living. So through educational content, I raise awareness about this hidden health threat, and I provide practical alternatives that women can actually implement right away to start minimizing environmental stressors and build the foundation for true and lasting health.
Well, and again, this is a podcast and there's some videos, but like you're very beautiful and you can tell that you've like worked on the clean living thing. So it just, your skin is beautiful and it's shining and it's got all the things. So you can tell that you follow the principles of your of your own program, which
yes, I mean, I do. I mean, like, and I
not
want
to be in your business and be embarrassing. So I'm sorry.
No. I love you talking about it. Yes, I'm trying, I'm trying to stick to my own principle, but I also want to highlight that we are not perfect.
Right.
And we shouldn't aim actually for perfection. We should aim for balance.
Right.
And so even if it means for some women, starting one step at a time, it's all right, as long as you're moving forward. And the goal is really to find your own balance, and finding your own balance will have a different meaning depending on the person. But aiming for actually perfection can actually drain you of your energy and push you into one extreme or the other, which is not a solution either.
Right. No, and I think again, like I love a lot of your, probably because it's very similar to a lot of my principles with patients. Like, yes, do I want them to do all of their exercises and be whatever, but even if they just do 1 or 2 a week, right? And if I have a patient message me and they're like, I didn't do my exercises, I'll double up. I'm like, do not double up. Like, calm down. Just pick it up from here. It's okay. And a lot of my job is actually working on self-care for people, right? Like I do get a lot of people who experience burnout, who are like, by the time they're coming to me, their bodies are like, whoa, right?
Yes.
And so a lot of, even this morning, there's me sending a message like, it's okay. Take this day for you. We'll get back to things next week. So this is your self-care day. So I feel like it's kind of interesting because I always feel like physical therapy is a lot of like exercise, but a lot of my education is on taking self-care. And as women, I'm very pro, like we can do anything we want, right? I'm very like the feminist, but I think we don't realize actually how much we're juggling, and nothing against men. And I guess this could be my soapbox. I don't think men are expected to at the same level, right? They don't manage the home things as much. And I'm probably just on a traditional model. But that's also probably, again, why this is so important to direct this for women. Again, that we don't always realize how much we're doing.
We don't realize how much we're doing. And we're kind of running after some things that doesn't exist, and where we wouldn't actually feel satisfied. It's like, trying to fill a void, endless void. And that's something we have to realize, we have to face, because no one can take care of ourselves other than us.
I really liked your phrase of being a human being and not a human doing, because I feel like there's a lot of like guilt if you're not constantly working or doing something. And, and I experience that myself, like, why am I not doing this project? Why am I, and I'm like, or tonight I do, I just rest at home with my cats or whatever. But I really like that phrase.
Yeah, and honoring actually this feminine polarity, which is into the being, also into the sensitivity. Because if you're not here, if you're in your head, actually, how do you feel your body? How do you feel your emotion? And emotion can be a tool which we can do good or can do bad with it, right? And so if we are like completely disconnected from it, like it will just run wild. And so it's all, I think, one clue of women health is about, tuning in and accepting to slow down, and accepting not to be acknowledged by the, the outside world, to acknowledge yourself first.
This kind of moves into the next question, but where like, have women not been acknowledged in the healthcare system a little bit? And I know that we kind of talked about like tuning into our emotions, and like women are often rated as hysterical, or like they're brushed aside with our symptoms and our things like that. But I'm going to kind of let you take this one, but like, have women been pushed aside in this?
Okay, so if women have been pushed aside or ignored in our healthcare system, right? I think that's a very, very interesting topic, and yet complex. And my answer will be quite nuanced. So in one hand, I do completely agree that the conventional healthcare system is definitely not woman-centered.
Okay.
And it's more structured
Mhm.
around a masculine model that doesn't quite address or even comprehend
Mhm.
women's unique needs and experiences. But in the other hand,
Mhm.
I do believe also that as women, we often tend to ignore our own needs.
Mhm.
And it's challenging to expect someone to understand or even address something we haven't acknowledged or expressed ourselves first.
Mhm.
So rather than feeling that we need, to fight the system, I do believe that it's more about confronting our tendency to expect solution coming from outside.
Mhm.
Because as women, we have the power and alongside with it the responsibility to create our own solution. And here I do agree that it's not the easiest way.
Mhm.
But if we had to go down that path, we will have to actually turn inward, look for what we really want or
Mhm.
need. We'll have to also acknowledge our feeling and emotion and take responsibility for it. And to be really specific and honest about what we're looking for.
Mhm.
And when we have that, we'll need to gather the courage to pursue it, either ask it
Mhm.
or even better, create it.
Right.
Because if the solution isn't found in the conventional healthcare system, we can still create our alternative solution that works for us. And I do strongly believe that women have the tremendous power in how we direct actually our focus or our resources.
Mhm.
Where we put our attention and where we put our money is where things start to flourish.
Mhm.
So if we actually acknowledge this power, eventually someday the conventional healthcare system may shift, but not before we take our responsibility. We step away from a victim mindset and we start actively supporting alternative solutions.
Mhm.
And when you do actually today, if you go to, I invite your listener to go on the internet and do a quick search on alternative options. You actually see that there is already outside of the conventional healthcare system so many alternative healthcare options for women. So I do believe that it is really up to us to decide where we put our energy, where we put our attention, where we put our resources and our time to bring to life alternative solutions that resonate with us. And change will only happen when we start owning this power and when we choose to actively build and support the kind of care we want.
Well, and honestly, again, your program is a testament of that, right?
Yes.
You went through a thing and you, instead of just being like, oh, this happened to me, you created.
You're creative.
And so I think we've talked before a little bit of things where for women, what we get marked down with or whatever is, that is actually that, what is our power, right? Our intuitive power
Exactly.
to create.
Exactly.
Whether again people channel that to like we're creating life or we create, but women are intuitive, and so people are like, oh, you're emotional. So we talked about where if you have those imbalances, it can be like where the emotions run over or the hormones take the control, and that gets what is labeled as your hysterical or your things. But if you channel that, so you actually created your own program because it wasn't out there, right?
Yes.
And so instead of a lot of times we go to doctors and maybe they don't listen, or maybe they're, or you don't accept those answers. You're like, I'm going to figure this out.
Yes. And that's exactly what empowerment means, right? And even if you don't have right away, the energy to create it, because creating something can take time and energy, you can still have, like, there is so many women who already have created these alternatives for you.
Right.
And so being able actually to support that is actually supporting yourself to be back in the creative game, I would say.
No, and it's funny because I feel like the more I'm opening topics up with like patients or just other women, then resources are coming in, which is kind of fun. So if sometimes the more you're putting it out there, then the more you're finding these things. So so as much as we want to say like that, we've never studied the female body, and yes, for years, but I acknowledge even for myself, there are times where I'm like, why didn't I take the time to go to the bathroom? Like, people can wait 5 minutes for me. Why didn't I take the time to do this for me? So I did that to myself. I can't blame the world. I have to say, I have to be like, hold on me if I need 5 minutes for my own self-care.
Mhm.
And we need to own that. And again, there are things that are inequalities in the world, but we have to own it in ourselves first
Yes.
before we can expect others to give us what we want.
Yes, exactly. And it's not,
Mhm.
when you acknowledge your responsibility, it's not about blaming yourself. It's
Mhm.
actually, being aware that you have a choice to do differently here.
Mhm.
And so choosing actually to take care of yourself and to setting boundaries, better boundaries for yourself,
And it's not selfish.
it's not selfish.
Right. I think that's
Yes.
where a lot of people run into that, like, oh, but I can't do this for me. And there's nothing wrong with saying this is my boundary and I need to respect
Mhm.
and do this for myself.
Even when you think, you have to take care of people, or you have to
Mhm.
prioritize people, I would say, like, think about how can you actually take care of people if you don't have the energy, if you don't have the health for that. So actually
Right.
taking care of yourself first
Mhm.
sets the foundation for being
Mhm.
able to take care of others.
Mhm. No, and that's perfect. I think we'd also talk because you've studied so many different places, which is impressive, that healthcare is kind of similar all over a little bit, right?
Yes, 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 yes. So if I had to, yeah, talk about my experience and maybe give some advice to your listeners.
Uh-huh.
So I had a chance to live on different continents and experience healthcare in various countries. And what I realized is that they're not perfect. None
Right.
of them are perfect. And they're all pretty much centered around what we call conventional medicine. And while conventional medicine is fantastic, for emergency when it comes to saving life, but when we come to talking about preventive health or chronic condition, which actually make up most of our health issue today, it often, if not always, falls short. And I do believe that there is four reasons for that, four reasons on which we can base our choice for actually a better healthcare for ourselves. The first reason is that conventional medicines tend to only, I would say, focus on treating the symptom instead of looking for the underlying cause of it. And for example, chronic, how do you say, medication for chronic conditions can help manage a symptom temporarily, but it rarely fixes the original issues. And it can even lead to new issues or side effects, which creates this kind of cycle where more medication is needed.
Right.
So I do believe that we need to really address and comprehend what is causing the symptom instead of what we were talking about earlier, covering them up.
Right.
A second reason is that conventional approach really tend to focus on treating the disease only instead of considering the person behind it. And there is this belief or this idea that we can actually treat a condition the same way for everyone. And on a practical level, it can make things easier, yes, but people are unique and need a personalized approach. And one of the biggest limitations I can see here is this tendency to apply these one-size-fits-all models, despite that we all have different body, different constitution, different needs. So for me, true care need to be tailored to each person. And the third reason is that while personalized medicine, we're hearing more about personalized medicine, I do believe it's really a step forward. But it often tends to see health only from a physical standpoint. And we are not just our body. We are a multi-dimensional being, and as such, our emotion, our environment, our relationship, or even our spiritual health all play a role in our overall health. That's why I'm a strong advocate of actually a holistic approach, which consider all those aspects to really maximize our chances to feeling our best. And lastly, I would say I do observe that in conventional healthcare systems, there is a huge lack in health education. And while studies show that people tend to follow without question authority figures, especially, when
If
it's
you're wearing a white coat.
yeah, a doctor in a white coat. Okay.
Right.
So why is this blind trust, I would say,
Uh-huh.
maybe consider natural? It tends to push us to be completely passive in our own health journey without really understanding how things affect us. And I do believe that's exactly where we're missing a layer of responsibility and awareness. Because health education shouldn't be about just fact. It should actually help a person to understand their own body, to really, I would say, address their own limitation and feel like they are in the driver's seat when it comes to their health. And so, based on those 4 reasons, if I had to give some advice for your listener to choose a better healthcare for themselves, I would really encourage them to find an approach that is truly personalized, holistic, and goes beyond just managing symptoms to really find the root cause of it. Ideally, this approach should also give you support and help you to track your progress, because the road to better health can be a really bumpy one, and having support and accountability during that time is priceless. And while going outside of the conventional healthcare system can be kind of scary and more expensive, right? It's really worth asking yourself how much your health issues are impacting your life today, and what might change actually if those issues were finally and properly addressed. There is also something I want to mention is I often observe this tendency to do what I call therapeutic tourism. So to jump from one health practitioner to the other health practitioner without really giving time for results. But really, commitment and patience are key in this process, because our body have natural rhythms that can be rushed. And just to give you a simple example here, as women, we have in our ovaries little sacs, little bags that contain our egg, which are called a follicle, right? And for a follicle to fully mature, to go from being a primordial follicle to becoming a pre-ovulatory follicle and really impact our hormone production, it takes approximately 3 months. And so in our body, most of our systems are actually all based in the same way, in the same rhythm. And that's important to understand here, is that healing takes time. So if I have to give a final advice to your listener, will be to, if they choose a program, to really find someone they are comfortable to work with, someone that can really empower them and support them and teach them along the way. And I really recommend you to not be afraid to ask what kind of tracking system they use, what kind of, of support they provide, or what kind of education they offer, because those are what will help you to really know where you are, where you're heading, and if you are actually on the right track. So once you have all those covered, really give it a try. Commit for a few months at least, and really give yourselves a chance to see real change.
No, and it's interesting because a lot of times we complain about the American healthcare system, and it's funny because I've talked with others. It's not broken. It does what it tells you what it's going to do. And a lot of times we say treats and streets, right? Immediate need, you're back out on the road. But I do like that, where it's interesting, even with some of my physicians, where a lot of them have actually started switching to cash pay, and it's nice that they can hang out and chat with me, and they'll be like, we're gonna try this, but you need to give it 6 to 8 weeks. And that's also even with patients, I have to tell them the same thing. Like, and even the rehab, like as long as the journey is kind of going up, but there's bumps, right? We're going to have a thing, you're going to have a flare up, we're going to go this, and then that also gives me information. Everything's gathering information, right? You're peeling the onion layers back. So when you hit those bumps, it's not necessarily like people get discouraged, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It is more information.
It's learning. It's learning. It's actually, like success is good, but failure is where you learn from. And can we really consider it like a failure, or just your body actually talking to you and you being open to finally
like
listening to
your
it?
body.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's again, like with your approach, it is providing all those things. I think the hardest part, and again, practitioners in the system now, unfortunately, and in an insurance-based model, you have to see so many people a day to even get like money back in like 3 to 4 months or whatever. So they are like running through this person. And, I saw something once where it said the average physician makes the decision about a patient in the first like 10 seconds of them talking because they have to decide, do I toss this medicine out and what do I have? I have 20 more patients waiting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is why I think a lot of practitioners that actually want to help their people have started switching to a cash pay basis so they can actually spend that time. So those people are out there. And again, like your program, right? Like, let's find out what's going on if you want to make the choices. And then I always say it's up to you, right? If you're okay with just taking medication and just managing your stuff and not having to confront the things, no judgment. Like,
Yes.
like again, because you want to find a good fit.
Yes, it's all about, whatever works for you, wherever you are on your road, and you have to actually experiment.
Right.
Experiment. If you're like happy with the conventional healthcare system, go for it.
Right.
If you feel like you need something else or you're looking for more meaning in your life, then maybe try to do a quick search on the internet. You'll find a lot of alternative healthcare solutions there also.
And it is also interesting where we say that we're not just the physical, right? So a lot of times for my patients, they'll be like, I don't even know what happened. I don't know how this happened. And I'm not a mental health professional. I don't claim to be that anyway. But for me, it also helps. So I have them talk me through their week, right? If I haven't seen them in a few days or whatever, I'm like, let's break your week down. And as they just start to talk, then I feel like they're like, oh my gosh, it's information for me, but it's information for them where I think they don't even realize all the stuff that's happened to them that maybe they didn't process the stress with their father. They didn't process the stress with this fight with a significant other. They didn't process like what happened at work. And, it's manifesting physically.
Yes, because doing. And so when you don't take a time actually to reconnect and to, shed lights on what really happened, not only on the outside, but also emotionally on the inside, it can like it's bound to like explode someday. And it can explode like emotionally when you are like you express it, or it can like implode, and that's your body which is going to take the toll for that. So yeah.
Right. So I appreciate that you brought that because I think again, a lot of times it's like, oh, you have this and so it must be that. You had mentioned before, like something like even like urinary tract infections can be like, so there was some other just like something about not having your voice or things like that.
Yes. Actually, like what we do during one of our process is that we really, explore the different dimensions. First, we gather a lot of data at the beginning of the program. And when assembled, it really tells a compelling story. And so we really like seeing all those pieces fitted together. It's really like, and making sense to the client, it's really a rewarding process. And when we explore those different dimensions of their health, the relationship between those, we see that actually everything is interconnected. And I mentioned the other day that, for instance, when we see an overwhelmed liver, it's usually a reflection of anger or feelings that we're not expressing. When we see, for instance, a chronic UTI, so urinary tract infection, we often see that there is a reflection somewhere of a struggle for the person to find their own voice or their own sense of place. And being able actually to read those body messages as a reflection to other dimension of their health really helps the client to make sense of their own story. And that's a very important tool to be able to move forward on your own health journey.
I just thought that was really interesting. So I was like, well, I want people to hear that. But I didn't know if you had a few minutes to do a little bit of a somatic
Of course, yes.
Okay, since you're here.
Yes, I would love to ground our session, like do a little exercise to ground our session.
Okay.
So today we're going to use a technique called square breath or box breath or equal breath. So this technique really helps you rebalance your nervous system and tap into the parasympathetic side of your nervous system, which is known to activate the rest and digest state. So using this technique can really help you to improve your digestion, to lower your stress, and to also improve your focus. And before beginning this little practice, I would like to remind your listener to not do that practice while driving or when doing any activities that require your full attention. So I will invite you to really find a quiet space when you are not to be distracted or disturbed. So turn your phone off.
No computer, no phone.
No computer, no phone. Yeah. I mean, you can listen to my voice. I will guide you through this practice, or you can write it down. And so what we're going to do basically is we're going to picture in our mind a square, and we're going to adjust our breath to each side of the square by starting with the bottom right corner of the square. And we're going to do, so we're going to inhale for 4, counting 4. We're going to hold, counting 4. We're going to exhale, counting 4, and we're going to hold, counting 4. So inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, and hold 4. And we're going to do that cycle for, we're going to do that for about 5 cycles, 4 to 5 cycles. So before that, let's prepare a body. I will invite you to sit down comfortably, your feet grounding in the floor, your hands on your knees, palm facing downward, your back straight. And before starting, I will invite you just to shake your shoulder and your neck to really notice if there's no tension left there. And when you're ready, you can either do a soft gaze or close your eyes, whatever you feel comfortable with. And I will invite you to focus on your breath. Just breathing in and out naturally. You connect with your breath, breathing in and out at your own pace. And you're not just observing your breath, you're also feeling your breath entering your nose, your throat, down to your lungs, and back again to your throat, and exhaling through your mouth. You're inhaling calmly through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. And as you connect with your breath, you're going to let a little more air inside your body and releasing a little more air outside of your body. And as you keep breathing, you're going to picture on the screen of your mind a square. You will draw that square to the size you want. And you will focus on the bottom right corner of that square. And we're going to inhale for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and back to your natural breath. You're just breathing in and out, still connecting to your breath and noticing any changes in your body. Maybe you're feeling a little bit calmer, a little bit more focused. Welcome whatever is coming to you. And when you feel ready, I would like to invite you into the here and now and open your eyes. How are you feeling?
Good. It's interesting because I feel like we operate on the sympathetic nervous system.
Yes.
So we're always in fight or flight, right?
Exactly.
So to actually have to take time where I just focus on the one thing, right?
Yes.
And then I'm like, okay, it's okay. Just let all this stuff go. So that's why I think you get that more focused feeling, right?
Yes.
If you're not like having your mind race while you're trying to do it, but it is really, where you're like, I'm just focusing, I'm following my square, I'm doing my thing,
Exactly.
right?
Just one
Mhm.
thing at a time.
Mhm.
And really like taking the time to be
Mhm.
and to welcome whatever comes to you, emotion, tension,
Mhm.
feeling,
Right.
acknowledging it. Yes.
So that is the thing we often don't do.
That is a thing that now with a simple
Right?
exercise you can
Yeah, it's
implement more
perfect.
into your life. Yes.
So again, not while driving, get rid of distractions. But
Yes.
I just I appreciate all of your time again. So I feel like kind of kindred spirits of just the way like you love to practice, and I'm very like impressed by the program that you've built and all of the things, and obviously we'll continue annoying you to get in little things and learn as much as possible from you. But thank you again for your time today.
Thank you for having me. It was really a pleasure to be able to,
Mhm.
bring that knowledge or different, perspective on health to other people. That's how you plant a seed, and that's how you start changing people's life.
Right.
Yes. And I
No, and
think that's
that's
important. That's part of education. Yes.
and that's the thing is looking for those changes, and sometimes you have to create it, right?
Yes, and I'm very grateful for you, to give this woman opportunity to listen to different sound, different voices, different ideas to actually ultimately make their own mind.
Right.
Yes.
And that's the important thing. So again, look for her programs, and we'll put the tags and everything like that. And thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you for tuning into today's episode of the State of Healthcare podcast. Again, focusing on we've never really studied the female body. We hope that you were able to take some important information from this, whether it's resources, ideas for daily life. And as always, please feel free to follow us on social medias on Instagram, Facebook, all of the things for more tips, tricks, and daily things. Please always feel free to message if you have any ideas or suggestions, if you have questions, or you want to reach out to one of our guests. Because again, our goal is to provide resources for you to fight for your healthcare.